Hey there, folks. I had a very busy weekend for a number of reasons, but that means that I have not gotten around yet to watching the trailer for Secret Invasion. And so I am going to do that for you now. This also means I'm behind on some other stuff. The House of the Dragon review probably won't be out until tomorrow. Maybe I'll also react to the Werewolf by Night trailer and put that up this afternoon, like later today. I don't know. I'm already backed up on stuff at the beginning of the week, but we have a trailer to. Whoops, helps to have it start at the beginning. We have a trailer for Secret Invasion. Let's see it. It's Skybeam, but it's coming down instead of going up. That's not normal superhero stuff. All right, that's just going to be Nick Fury. I mean, I like that they blow him out with the light initially, so he looks more alien.
For years, you've been avoiding Earth. I have called for your help plenty of other times, and you've been pretty content to let those calls go straight to voicemail.
Yeah, well, this is different.
That feels like a pretty fair call out.
How much do you know about your security detail?
What do you mean, how much do I know about him?
All right, so we got Rhodey in on this. Oh! Forget the character's
Fury?
name now.
We're gonna be very
Martin Freeman.
now.
Ooh! Ooh! Oh! Oh, that's good.
You're in no shape for this fight that lies before us.
Olivia Colman. Yeah.
This is just the beginning.
This is my war alone. And I'm the last person standing between them and what they really want. And what is that?
Ooh. All right, that's a strong tease. I have some possible concerns based off what it looks like it might end up being plot-wise, but that is a strong tease. Samuel L. Jackson is obviously he's so good. He's good in everything. I've never seen him. He's one of those actors who I've never seen phone it in. He is good in everything, even if the thing that he's in is not good. And I expect him to be good in this. It's nice to see Maria Hill back. It's nice to see as many characters as I saw. Like I said, I can't remember Martin Freeman's character's name. Agent something or other. I can't remember, but that's cool that he's back. Olivia Colman's such a phenomenal actress. Really happy to see her. Ben Mendelsohn back as Talos. Yeah, I loved him. He was I like Captain Marvel pretty well, but he's definitely also one of the highlights of that movie. And the reveal that he's surrounded clearly by shapeshifters and most likely Skrulls, I'll get to that in a second, by just having a room full of the same guy. That's good. That was real good. Like in hindsight, that feels like an obvious way to do that kind of reveal. But boy, it hit well. I dig the heck out of that. So I say presumably the Skrulls, not because I think there's going to be some kind of twist where it isn't the Skrulls, but because if they're doing what I think they're doing, then I have a template that shows that it can go badly. So if they're doing what I kind of feels like at this point they would have to be doing, and I might be wrong about this, but since we've already established the Skrulls, and we've established them as largely sympathetic, and we've established them basically as trying to find a new place to be and just integrate into society, that should mean that what we're dealing with is some sort of extremist or radicalized group within the Skrulls. And if that is the case, that bears a shocking resemblance to the Zygon two-parter that was done on Doctor Who. It was series 9. I think it was series 9. Yeah. Yes. No, series 8. I can't remember. When the Zygon two-parter was done, they are also shapeshifters. They had largely been integrated into society, but there was a group that had problems with that and felt oppressed by that arrangement. So I've done full dissections of that. Now, let me be clear. If you've seen the Zygon Invasion and the Zygon Inversion, the 2 episodes that make up that story, the speech that the Doctor gives at the end of the Zygon Inversion is gold. It's incredibly well written and amazingly performed by Peter Capaldi. The problem is, as good as that speech is, a lot of what that episode is doing is not well handled when it comes to trying to depict, this is a group of largely decent, people, but within that group, there's a group that's a problem, because that brings an immediate likening to, groups that have terrorist elements that can spring out of them. The most common thing that's usually done with that is Islam and those sorts of Middle Eastern kind of groups. But the thing is, like, extremists can come out of any group, but that's still the base assumption, I think, at this point, is that if you're making this kind of, here's a group of mostly peaceful people, but there's a terrorist organization that exists within that community, most people are going to make the parallel to Islam and Muslim communities. And that's a metaphor you have to be really, really careful about how you deal with. And if you don't mean it to be that kind of metaphor, you better work your ass off to make it distinct enough that it won't be read that way by default. Some people might still read it that way, but if you don't do anything to distinguish it as being distinct from that, that is the default read most people are going to have. And it's tricky. It is tricky to do well. And that makes me a little bit nervous. Again, partially because, at least so far, the plot seems to bear a strong resemblance to the Zygon Invasion and Zygon Inversion. And again, apart from that ending speech, that story's kind of a mess. Like, part of it is not the narrative. The first episode actually, parts of it are shot really bad. But even looking at it as a whole, that narrative doesn't hold together especially well with or without the metaphor. But with the metaphor in, it actually holds slightly worse. So the actual motivation of these hostile Skrulls is going to matter a lot. And exactly what their grievance is and why they are doing this as they're doing it. If they can find a way to thread that needle to avoid the comparison that I made, then I think we'll probably be in pretty good shape. Because again, the presentation of this threat that we're seeing from the trailer, really good, really well done. But I'm just nervous. Not because I think it's impossible to do well, but there's a lot of stumbling points if that's the angle you're going to take. So we'll have to see. And at this point, I'm kind of inclined to be a bit on the nervous side when it comes to the Disney Plus streaming shows, because while I don't think I found any of them terrible, most of them either underwhelmed, or just left me whelmed right off the bat, or I've kind of soured on them the more I think about them since they aired. And there really have been none that I'm like, yes, that's the stuff. And as a result, at this point, I am just kind of nervous about Marvel shows more than I'm excited for them. That's not necessarily based on them being bad ideas, but just because the execution we've had so far. And yeah, we'll see. I'll keep an eye out for more trailers, and I always hope these things are good. That will always be my hope. Doesn't mean it will be, but we'll see. What did you think of this trailer? Do you think I'm maybe misprojecting my concerns based off that Doctor Who two-parter? Or do you think that, that is a fair comparison based off what we know so far, or whatever else you might think. Drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Patreon pays the bills, keeps everything up and running, but don't worry too much about it, because we take a relaxed attitude around here, so you can come on back next time you need a break. Time to give my thanks to my highest supporting patrons. That would include Robin Moore, Zubin Lutfullah, Tarak, the thing that goes doink in the anime, Oliver B., Melinda Walters, Emu Delkey, Leotha Boyd, Becky Sparks, Pranabi Likes the Poodle, Zach, Idolin, Tracy Scrabbit, Angry Casperl, Adam RDL Taylor, Shane Ross, Shayla Gourlay, Brendan LaRose, and TT. If you want your name said while these guys try and distract me, consider looking at the rewards on my Patreon.